To pretend that the death penalty is going to end crime in the United States is to fool people and to promote public ignorance. There's no evidence that the death penalty deters crime. It's not a deterrent. People need to realize that as long as we have a death penalty, we're all at risk. The death penalty makes us all killers. A society that respects life doesn't deliberately kill human beings. I think everybody should meet at least one exonerated death row prisoner before they make the decision whether to support or not to support the death penalty. The saying goes, those without the capital get the punishment. Capital punishment is without question cruel and without a doubt unusual. I think that as long as governments keep setting the example of killing their enemies, citizens are just going to follow their lead, and occasionally they're going to kill their enemies too. It's not a deterrent. Capital punishment in the United States is a direct descendant of lynchings and other forms of racial violence. What I have come to learn is that the disparities are enormous as to who gets the death penalty in America. There is no common standard from one jurisdiction to the next. Capital punishment is murder, plain and simple. It's not a deterrent. When it comes to the death penalty in America, race definitely plays a role in determining who lives and who dies. The death penalty is the privilege of the poor. There is no evidence that capital punishment deters crime. The death penalty denies the possibility of rehabilitation and reconciliation. It's not a deterrent. Innocent people can and have been executed. Murder is murder. I don't care who does it. And I think we as a society can afford to incarcerate people, and we can afford to rehabilitate them. The death penalty just prolongs the suffering of the victim's family, and it extends that suffering to the loved ones of the condemned. It's the job of the thinking people to not be on the side of the executioners. Government can't be trusted to control its own bureaucrats, or to collect taxes equitably, or even fill a pothole, much less decide which citizens they should kill. Americans pride themselves on their human decency and their common sense, but the death penalty contradicts both. The death penalty needs to be abolished. Life without parole is a sensible and just alternative to the death penalty. I would go as far as to challenge anyone that thinks that life without parole is not a just alternative to the death penalty to spend 1 week in prison. Any prison. 1 week. It's a fact that it costs more to execute a person than it does to keep them in prison for the rest of their life. The death penalty has no place in civilized society. It's not a deterrent. Serving time in prison ain't no joke. Even if you were to remove the dangers, remove the brutality and the hostile environment, it's still hell on earth. I mean, to be taken away from your loved ones, to be removed from existence as you know it, that ain't no joke. Anyone that glorifies prison life, either one, hasn't really done time in prison, or two, is a goddamn fool. And anyone that has served prison time and knows the truth about what goes on in there and isn't standing up against it is a goddamn coward. How do you find justification in killing people that kill people to show people that killing is wrong? It's better to risk saving a guilty person than it is to condemn an innocent one. I think that the hip-hop community as a whole should get involved in the fight against the death penalty for a lot of reasons. The main reason being that hip-hop was born out of poor communities. You know what I'm saying? It was born out of the hood. And it's these same neighborhoods that the individuals that filled death rows across America come from. A lot of people fear speaking out against the prison system, against the criminal justice system. I mean, the prisoners on the inside, they fear the repercussions. And the people on the outside, they fear imprisonment, or worse. The death penalty needs to be abolished.